If you've ever tried to re-roll the uniparts, then you know how bad this system is. And so I've got to say that, what is this sick joke? This is my first attempt at re-rolling this for an actual piece I want to have on this Kafka that we're going to showcase today. And look what they give me. They give me a 5-star, but it's healing multiplier. Like, you could have gave me literally anything else and I would have been happier. And I already had a healing multiplier. All right, so we're going to check out / test out the another one. Okay, cool. Dude, I'm getting lotto luck. I need to actually go buy a lottery ticket. I haven't been able to finish this because obviously that system, you could get 5 stars on your first try, you can get 5 stars on your second try, like I just did, but then you could go 30 tries and not get a one, right? And then if you want a specific stat, good luck. good luck. All right, so we're checking out this Kafka in the new event. And so we pushed him to level 100. He was already level 90, and I already showcased him. I did shift him to armored. I want to see how this looks. I think that his best set is still Lizard, though, regardless, because of the fact that you do want to get that critical rate for the Kaiju number 8 version of this character, because unless you're going to just exclusively use him in this content, which I kind of maybe think will be the case, like he could be good in this content just indefinitely, because they would just run this new event repeatedly, and Rin will always be an S tier character, I guess, until she gets power crept indefinitely. But, in which case, I guess it doesn't matter as much, right? So if you're not, I guess to amend the statement, if you're not using this Kafka outside of this new content, then you can put on Fungal, which I would say is the best set. But I'm trying armored because I want to see how this looks. So we got the new set, the one that came with Kikuru, blunt damage up and attack up, and then also after activating the ultimate, damage dealt up as well. He's gonna ultimate pretty consistently with this setup. In fact, I'm pretty sure that should trigger for the first transformation ultimate as well, because it is still the ultimate, which is a fun little quirk in here, because he goes from that and then instantly gets a second ultimate right after, advances the next action order. No, he goes from the ultimate and then shoots to the front of the board and then gets to take another turn with the Kaiju number 8, and then he fills that second ultimate faster, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've used him. So anyway, the other Kaiju number 8 is the better character in general, but this one is particularly interesting because of the fact that, one, he's a free character that you get fully maxed investment. So like, here's a look at the dupes. When in Kaiju form, the attack goes up. When in Kaiju form, his combat skill damage goes up. And then this third one here, ultimate damage up. So I'm still dealing with the little freeze thing, so I'm watching it though. So we'll fix that as it goes. At the start of the battle, applies ultimate gauge charge rate up as well for 2 turns to this unit. That's huge, but again, he's free, so I'm not worried about it. But that's huge, so he can transform faster. And then after activating a normal attack or combat in the Kaiju form, applies blunt damage dealt. So he gets more blunt damage here. The armored piece will give him a bit. The weapon, I could push this higher. Again, you get this fully investment because he's the only character that uses a handgun. After the equipped unit activates a combat skill, applies damage dealt 33.4% to the equipped unit for 2 turns. So another bonus here. And then the uniparts, if this wasn't clear earlier by my explanation, the uniparts actually stay post-transformation. Unlike the other Kaiju, this Kaiju can actually use the uniparts. The weapon unequips. However, this effect will stay until it falls off. So there's a brief period where he's able to keep that overlapping with the transformation, but the weapon does fall off. Anyway, his combat skill is his entire kit pre-transformation. Is actually pretty solid. A 1-turn, 25% defense down debuff, and a speed increase to himself. So that's his entire kit pre-transformation. He doesn't really do anything else. Post-transformation, that turns into an AoE attack, which is where his relevance is to this event. His first ultimate transforms him. He gets HP plus 80% and speed plus 10%. Normal attack, combat, and ultimate follow-ups all become their post-transformation forms. Advances order by 100%. Weapons are unequipped. Again, I brought that up. Notice how it doesn't mention the uniparts. Last until the end of the battle and cannot be removed. And so it basically means he can't be untransformed. And then right here, this is just a normal follow-up. But as you see, the modifiers for all this stuff gets harder. He hits much harder as he goes through. I guess at least on that one. The other one's not so much. At the start of the battle, applies effect hit rate plus 20% for 3 turns to this unit. While in Kaiju form, the attack and defense go up. And I like this, how they've got the Kaijus between him and the other Kaiju no 8 getting super high stat bonuses, right? When he's at 50% or more HP, his crit rate goes up. When attacking a Kaiju that has 50% or more. And then ultimate gauge up. So pretty straightforward character, pretty solid. I think like if I did a tiered list for this event, I don't know. Like I have to test him out, see how he looks. He's probably going to be high tiered. But if I were to do just another tier list, a standard one, he's mid tier. I put him around the mid tier area. Pretty solid SR character you could use, or 4-star character you could use. All right. So I typically like to use 4-star Hoshina. However, the problem with 4-star Hoshina is that for characters, for Rin, he's like, for everyone else but Rin, it's mostly fine. But we are going to use the combat, which is an AoE skill most of the time. So I will change this around. But he doesn't buff AoE damage. He only buffs single target, and he buffs blast attack. The thing is that for literally everyone but, Sagan, I guess. Sagan's ultimate is an AoE. There's very few of those. But Rin has 3 AoE attacks, where even the 5-star Soshiro, the old one, has 1 AoE attack. So, like, he's able to benefit from using that one, the 4-star support. So I could technically still do that with this Kafka. I don't think I will, though. All right, we're going to get Rio, who's not leveled, so he is going to get blitzed, for the record. You need level 100 characters. We're going to bring our boy, Isao, and we're going to bring Kaiju no 8. Kafka. not Kaiju number 8. Kaiju number 8 is probably worse than Kafka in this, just because the AoE stuff and this specific piece of content. So, I mean, there's that. But, yeah, so with this, what we're doing here, Rio's going to take like 900 to 1,000 damage per hit. I don't know if we can keep him alive. Let me actually restart this. I actually need to make Rio faster than Chester. Oh, no. Never mind. Actually, Rio's passive. I'm thinking about something else. I'm thinking of Oshiro. Rio's passive bonus is automatic. So, no, Chester's going to push that higher attack. So, I did the calculations on Rio a while ago, and he's giving 30% off to the team between his passive, his 2 passives, basically. 20 here, and then there's another 10 here for the secondary passive. But that only amounted to about 17.6%. Like, it didn't translate the full way because high attack getting pushed, the enemies have defense that mitigates that. So damage dealt is the primary buff mechanic in the game. With the 6 that dupe he has, he now pushes 10% damage dealt. But if you were ever wondering about that first dupe on Chester, yeah, it's a must-have, in my opinion. I don't have it. But Chester is able to offset the fact that enemies can suppress the attack stat gain because Chester pushes such a high flat amount, and he's going to push like 1,000 here. So pushing like pushing 1,000 attack in a game where the attack stats are in the hundreds and thousands is pretty massive, right? Like that's actually pretty massive. So the defense stats obviously are not able to suppress that to the same degree. It's kind of weird when you get into all of it, but okay. Well, I see that froze. My bad. Hopefully that wasn't too bad. So all I did was I did the combat skill, but let me just show you this because I don't know where it froze. But I was looking at the attack stats here. I'm sorry about that. I started looking at my other screen. So we were getting plus, 2,000 here. So like I was saying, that increase is massive when you have that flat number coming through. That's so high. Isao starts off with the shield, so we are starting with the damage dealt. But the primary thing we want to do here is we just want Kafka to transform as quick as possible, 1, but 2, to be the main character showcasing here. So that's why I didn't add any other like AoEs. I didn't want anybody else stepping on his toes in any way. Well, Rio won't get blitzed if they don't target him. If they avoid targeting him, then he's cool. Okay, Chester follow-up is nice. We have the Rio ultimate here. That's great. We want that. Thank you. We're going to trigger this. We're also going to get the Kafka one right after this, I believe, after this next combat skill. All right. So, we'll go here. It's kind of tricky trying to watch one screen and click the other. I don't know. It's weird. Oh, he's 1 attack shy. Are you kidding me? All right, let's get the shields back up because they're going to really be annoying here. I'm going to see if they hit Chester so Chester can go. Whoo! I told you he was going to get blown up. Didn't I tell you? That is nothing more than the level difference. I can't stress that enough. I always explain this to people. The level difference is the most important thing in the entire game. That is nothing more. If I brought him up to level 100, he would get like 50 more defense, and all of a sudden he can tank those hits. It's not about the stats. It's about the levels. The enemies are level 100, so they blow him up. Oh, man. I thought he was going to take more like 1,200. Actually, if he was 95, he would have took that 1,200 number I was thinking about. All right. I misclicked there, by the way. I was supposed to use the thing. I double-clicked, but it's fine. I was supposed to use my combat, though, so I can get the ultimate, or the weapon effect one more time. But I double-clicked the screen, and so that happened. So anyway, now it's time to let the party begin, baby. Let's see how things look. So all of a sudden, he's now at 83% crit rate, because this event is stupid, for the record. And he got his own extra crit rate in there. Over 3,000 attack, speed bonus, crit bonus for the event. He actually can get more. He's going to go over, well, he's going to go to 100. He can get more crit rate. Damage dealt, damage dealt, damage dealt, damage dealt, damage dealt. He's got a bunch of damage dealt. He doesn't really have many other buffs. It's just a bunch of damage dealt. All right, let's go. Let's see what this looks like. 9,000s, huh? Okay. Not as impressive as I would like. That's where, yeah, I'm positive, and I was positive beforehand, but I tried to be a big brain about it. Fungal is the best set for this mode in general. Just in general. If you've got a multi-attacking character, be they blast attacker or can I break here? I can just kill here. Okay. Whether they're a blast attacker or they're a AoE character, it doesn't matter. Fungal is the best set for this mode just because they get such crit rate. And the only thing that even remotely came close in importance, let me go here. The only thing that came remotely close in importance to damage dealt when I was doing my calculations was crit damage output. That was the only other thing that was really that close. Otherwise, it was obviously a combination of attack and damage dealt and all these other things. But yeah, I digress. All right, so we need to get going here. I'm not so worried about this team being able to survive this content. I think that the rest of these three can do this. Would be nice if we got more damage from Kaiju, though. I'm going to be honest. He's not really doing the damage. So what that tells me is that he can't be a carry. He probably can't be your carry. So let me actually just retreat from here. I was worried about somebody stepping on his toes, but his damage went down. It didn't go up. But again, yeah, Fungal it's not close. It's just not close. I don't think it's close whatsoever. All right, so let's make a quick sub. So we're going to put Sagan in, drop Isao, and the last character we're going to put in here will be... I got a text message, so I was looking at that. So many combat skill characters. It froze, I see, but the last character I'm looking at is Ashro. I want to put him with Chester, though, regardless. But I do want to have another DPS character, though. So let's do that. All right, so let's do that. Let's see how that looks. I'll get going with Chester. I'm going to play this one much more normally, though. I'm just going to, honestly, I don't think I even really need to play this. I think the AI would be fine playing this. The only thing is, like, making sure that we get the ultimate for Sagan first, for example. Her eating all those hits is always really nice for her to get that ultimate so quickly. But Sagan blows this mode up, not because her damage, but because she gets such consistent ultimates that buff the team. And she's buffing crit damage with that first dupe. That's why I really made sure to get it on there. If you didn't see my summon video, though, that video was ridiculous. Maybe you saw it, but that video was ridiculous. We already have this going, so I'm not going to bother with it now. Him and his little handgun. He looks so silly with that stupid handgun, bro. He looks so silly. Everyone else has got ARs and custom weapons, and he's got a little handgun. Oh, that's great. That's great. All right, so he's got his ultimate. Chester's going to get his ultimate too. Oh, this is a peak turn right here. This is a peak turn. This is a peak turn. It would have been nice if I got Chester before Sagan, but I wasn't expecting that, so it didn't work out that exact way. Look at Sagan right there. Look at Sagan right there, blowing up. She blew up the whole wave, bro. All right, so we're going to get... I'm going to sit on Narumi's ultimate because I don't need him to really pop off. I want to see what Kafka can do in this environment. So his attack stat will be lower, but his buffs should be pretty good across the board. So yeah, let's see. Field ops, it's a lower field ops than the earlier one. Attack increase there from Wrathful Inferno. That is from Sagan. Speed boost, crit boost from the event, crit boost from his, I believe himself. Crit damage bonus for 2 turns. Ding, ding, ding. Sagan there. Effect hit rate up. Don't need any of that anymore. Effect resistance up. Damage dealt. Damage dealt. Damage dealt. Damage dealt. Okay. So I think the only real difference is maybe he has an attack increase that he didn't have before, and he also has a crit damage bonus that he didn't have before as well. So he's not killing any Kaiju by default here. Not even the one on the left. What? What's happening to the one on the left? He's really not killing that one. I thought he was starting from that low position. So if he crits, he will kill, but we'll see. He did crit. Okay, so he did kill him. So he wound up doing more than the game thought he would do because he crit, which is normal. That's fine. The crits were pretty impressive. He went to like, what, 18k on some enemies, 12k on some enemies. There's a lot of variance I saw. But as you see, Narumi is already like doubling up the damage. Sagan's doing similar damage, which is not a good sign for the record because she is not a primary DPS, not even a secondary DPS. But not a great sign for Kafka. So really... the only thing left is, like I said, I could put on Fungal, and I will say that he would pop off more with Fungal. It's just really hard, like I explained earlier, to switch sets. I can't switch sets. Like it is what it is. So, I mean, you know what we can do? You know what we can do? So this is what we will do. Thinking about it, this is what we can do. I will actually switch his set in a minute to Fungal. What's going to happen is it'll probably be a lower rarity Fungal, but we'll get the crit damage bonus, and he'll still probably function better here. Because the blunt damage dealt bonus doesn't really matter much. It clearly does not matter much. Let's see what the ultimate looks like. Okay. Oh, hey, the blunt damage kicked in right there, didn't it? 46k. I'm not mad at that. Sure. I'm not mad at that. That was actually pretty impressive. That was earlier he did the ultimate and it did like 30 something, right? Like that was pretty impressive. Now, again, he crit and he's got crit damage bonus. So like I said, crit damage is super high tier priority in terms of buffs. Wait a minute. Is she ultimating so often that it's stacking crit damage bonuses? Is that a thing? Because she's ultimating like every other turn. Oh my God, she's doing so much damage. It broke there. Great. I saw it though. Narumi followed up. That's the only thing that happened. Can it stack? Like I've never... No, it's just replacing it. Okay. I mean, it might have fallen off, but I don't think that was 2 turns because 2 turns is the indicator right here. This is a turn indicator. I'd have to watch it from here though. Anyway, we got the Chester ultimate now. Let's go for the Chester ultimate. I need to... Benny Barrio. I need to get some combat skill, some SP, for the combat skill for Kafka. It's just this team is very SP costly. Like they all want to use their combat skills pretty often. So I know Gen's got the ultimate, but I'm not really in a rush to use it. Let's see what he can do here. Kills. Some breaks in there. 12Ks, 14Ks. Yeah, his damage is comparable. Maybe a little bit less, but similar-ish to the ultimate skill damage of Sagan, Which, I mean, take from that what you will. I don't know what that says more about who. I don't know who that says more about, excuse me. Him or her. in terms of her doing really good damage or him being kind of underwhelming damage. I don't really know. But to be fair, like I said, he could be better. So we'll see. We'll see that in a minute. Okay, yeah, like I said, he's getting pretty up there with the damage there. I'm not too mad about that. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and cancel this out. And we will live reroll for fungal pieces. Something I don't really want to do. I don't want to do it. I'm going to be honest with you, man. Especially because I actually have a set on him that I don't really necessarily mind. I think Fungal is probably his third best set outside of that mode. It's the best in that mode, but it's probably his third best set in that mode. Or outside of that mode in other content. But I just don't have a need for this Kafka outside of that mode. So it is what it is. And yes, that means I do think Armored and Lizard are priorities over Fungal in other content. Speaking of Fungal, we got 96 of these bad boys, so you know I'm going to roll these. But these are not... Okay, I was just about to say, these are not really often going to give me purples. Every time I try to roll these for purples, I don't really get them very often. I get a lot of blues. A lot of blues. Yeah, see, this is my normal experience. A lot of blues. Getting a purple on these is like getting the orange on the fives on the other one, right? Like it's look at this. This is like 15 already. There we go. And it's a crit rate run. I'll take that. I would like damage, but I'll take rate. Whatever. We'll put that on for now and maybe double back. If I could get blunt damage here, that'd be nice. That was another thing. He had shock damage, which does nothing, right? If I could get blunt damage purple, I'd be eating pretty good. There was a blue blunt damage, but I'm not settling for that. There's another one. Come on now. This is ridiculous. You know what? I will say, I've said it before. Oh, thank you. I've said it before. Cause could you imagine if I got like ice damage or something? I would have been annoyed. I've said it before though, but like this functionality of this whole system, crit rate again. I want damage. I'm trying to get damage. There's damage. This whole system though, there's another damage. It's really annoying that you can't unequip. Like it like genuinely is really annoying. And coupling that with the rates of this, as you see, it's terrible. This isn't even me going for the 5-star piece. It's terrible. Now, if I went up, obviously, to the harder to get pieces, I'd be fine. But, you know, coupling it with the rates, though, it's pretty brutal. I don't need that. Ultimate Gauge is low-key my favorite one to get on this piece. It's just so good in most content, but I don't need it for this content. You're trolling. I just want to crit damage. That's it. Okay. So I was unable to walk away with crit damage. So that's a pretty normal experience. His attack is like 200 lower than it was previously. I'm not going to bother with that. I'm just not going to use him for a while. So, all right, let's go back into Large Conquest. He now has Fungal. It is not the premier Fungal. It's a decent one. What is he getting? Like 25% or something like that. He's not getting the full 40-ish, whatever the hell the number gets to. But I would surmise that would still be better. That's what my point was. I would surmise that would still be better. Even a diminished version of that buff is probably still better in this mode because of the amount of critical rates you get, which was my whole entire point. I'm going to actually open with his normal attack for Kafka this time. I want to make sure that I have the SP to use his combat skill just before transforming, so I get the weapon buff before I transform and it falls off. Going to get a follow-up here from Chester. By the way, if you've watched 24 minutes into this, thank you. I really appreciate it. It takes just a second. It's absolutely free to do. It helps the video, helps the channel rank better, etc. Please make sure that you leave a like on the video. I greatly appreciate it. If you've watched 24 minutes, you're enjoying the video. Like I can't say anything about that. All right, so we'll just go with her normal. And a Chester normal will follow up with Narumi. Yeah, we're going to get all the ultimates at the same time again, it looks like. We'll get a Kafka follow here. And it broke. Okay, so we'll get the Kafka follow. I'll fix that. Glad I'm not like... The worst feeling is like going a prolonged period of time and it's not recording properly and you don't know. I'm glad I'm on it, though. I'm watching it, bro. I'm watching it. Because I did a whole video the other day for like 20 minutes and it just didn't record anything. It broke instantly into the recording. And it stopped. So I'm going to go over this now. We'll get the ultimate. Benny Barrio. We'll get actually the follow-up with him as well because Kafka is going to break somebody here. I'll get Sagan first, actually. Yeah, we'll get Sagan because she just got hit and got the last little bit of gauge she needed. I wish the gauge was numbered. It caps out at 300. Every action the enemies do when they hit you and stuff, every action you do all feeds into it, but you can't see the actual number. Like, he was at like 290 right there. And I couldn't tell. All right, so now what we're going to do is we will actually, we'll give Sagan this. That's fine. But we're going to set up Kafka here. I love how he gets the ultimate off, but they don't make him go to the end of the action. He just comes right back. He gets 2 turns consecutive. That's pretty great. So yeah, attack is lower than we were experiencing earlier. Fungal gave him how much? Where's Fungal at? Crit damage from Sagan. I'm not seeing it. We do have the beetle weapon bonus in here. That's right here for 2 turns. Fungal, I'm not seeing it, but here it is. 43%. Okay, and he'll get the damage dealt. Wait, did he just get that? So yeah, that's my point. Like he should have got what, a 20% for 2-turn fungal damage bonus. Is that down here for using that ultimate? Yeah, it is. That's nice. Okay, so that'll actually impact this. That's funny. So he is by default deleting a couple characters, but we'll see what he does because if he crits, he probably deletes more than that. Maybe 1 more. Okay. I mean, he was probably going to crit anyway. His rate was nearly 100. But, yeah. I mean, Jester's follow-ups are doing 15K. I mean, what can you say, bro? Like, I mean, this mode is kind of dumb. Kind of dumb. I think Chester has Lizard on, though. He's not. I'm not going to change him, though. Oh, how the hell does she not crit at all? What the hell? That's, like, not impossible. That's not even possible here. How the hell did she not crit? That genuinely makes no sense. So yeah, he had the bonus from her last time. The crit damage, and yeah, it does not stack. I was right. That's unfortunate. All right, so he will delete whoever he hits here. Can he delete this guy? Oh, he is deleting him. That's gonna hit really hard. Because it's not factoring a crit. This is gonna hit like a nuke. He's probably exceeding 50 here. Oh, no, it said critical on it. So he's exceeding 50 here. Oh, 43. Never mind. I thought he was going over 50. It does tell you the critical right there. It doesn't factor in. Like I don't know. It's like, it's weird. It's like the game knows when you're going to critical sometimes. Maybe if the rate is high enough, it tells you. Because like we saw earlier, it wasn't able to determine if I was going to crit or not. So Kafka killed when the game's predictor didn't think I was going to kill. So maybe that's what it is. If you know, let me know. But I think it's probably because the rate is just so high that it's able to tell you for sure you're going to crit. He's critting everybody right here. This will do quite good. Okay. But to be fair, he's doing roughly the same amount of damage. And so that tells me Fungal is better, for the record. That tells me Fungal is better because he had higher rarity stuff and he was doing roughly the same amount of damage. And he had like a 200 and something attack increase piece and he's got a 70 attack increase like arm piece now. That tells me everything I need to know, though. That tells me his cap is much higher. He's only missing like 5%. Something like that from the rarity of the uniparts, but that's going to make a difference, right? And it's not just that, it's the other effects too. So that tells me everything I need to. And so I feel vindicated, but it's not like that's a surprise. I don't know. I wouldn't really recommend changing your sets too often though. Like I don't think I changed my other characters. I had already settled on giving Fungal to most characters, to be honest. Fungal is like really good in general across the game, but it's especially good when you get dupes in your characters because you come to realize, see, he's criticaling here, but it's not predicting a kill. Because you come to realize that so many characters have crit. Oh, it broke. That did 26k critical, and he did kill. So the predictor was wrong. Oh, no, he broke, and then the follow killed. Anyway, you come to realize so many characters have dupes that give crit rate when they do certain actions or whatever. And so all of a sudden, Fungal Lizard is like really the primary one you want early on, but as you get dupes in your characters, then you want to shift over. So I had already been doing that. Did that with Narumi. I had did that with or done that with Reno, a couple other characters. That was already the logic I was using. So I didn't have to do it here. I wouldn't, like, maybe I would build Rin if you don't have Rin built, because I'm expecting them to run this event repeatedly like they do the other tower mode. It's just a form of content that, you know, AoE blast attacking characters are going to excel in. But I wouldn't, long story short, go out of my way to change a bunch of stuff on a bunch of characters otherwise. All right, let's see what he does here. Okay, I think we've seen enough. So my assessment of Kafka is that, for one, he's also held back in this mode, just like 5-star Hoshina is. He's held back by a single target ultimate. This is gonna one-shot from max HP, by the way. That's pretty nice. As I'm saying, he's held back. He's held back by a single target ultimate. Really, this mode was designed for Rin. Like, there's other AoE characters, like a couple more. I don't think anybody has 3 AoEs like Rin does. And so that really shows off how good Rin is in this content, because she's always follow-up, ultimate, combat skill, always ultimate or AoEing. And so she's always wave clearing. So I think he's held back by that. Even if the ultimate one-shots a character like it just did there, it's still less efficient. So yeah, I think he's pretty solid. But I actually think he also starts off a tier lower than some of the other characters like Narumi, because he has to go through. Like, I thought it was a good thing, and it is a good thing in other content, that his combat skill does the defense down. You could leverage that for at least a little bit before he transforms. But in this mode, you want him to quick hit transform instantly. Like, you would love for him to start off with the transformation in this mode, because otherwise you just are twiddling your thumbs for like 2 turns while you're waiting for him to transform. So that's less efficient too. Now, ultimately, does it truly matter? No, right? There's no ranking event to this. There's nothing like that really requires you to make sure that you are scoring as quickly as possible, defeating the Kaiju as quick as possible. There's nothing there that really makes you need that. So ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't truly matter. As long as you're able to, like, defeat the 40 enemies or whatever and move to wave 2, then you're fine, right? That's the only thing that truly matters ultimately with that. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys think overall. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I'm actually pretty happy we didn't have too many breaks. But if you guys want to see 5-star Hoshina, the OG one, the non-number 10 one, then I have a video that you guys can watch, and it should be clickable on the screen right now. Make sure you check it out before you go.